Shabbat Shalom. So you probably know the story of the man who comes back from a trip to Israel, and his friend says, in a word, how was it? And he goes, good. And he said, okay, in 2 words. He goes, not good. The truth is that we all know, if you're going to summarize a lot of the state of the world at the moment in 2 words, you would automatically say not good. And I grant you, there are reasons to say that. Pandemic, demonstrations, looting, whatever. But I want to remind you, especially those of you, and I assume that's most of you who are younger, that you live in a curated world in a particular way. When I was a kid, you had a morning paper and an evening paper, and that was basically your news, although maybe you watched the news on television. And they used to tell us that the front page of the paper carried more information than a half an hour of television. But now, you don't get a morning paper and an evening paper. The evening paper is long since gone, and the morning paper is going the way of the dinosaurs. But instead, you get a constant stream of news. And one of the things about news is that gradual improvements don't make headlines. Things that are getting better in the world bit by bit, that's not what you see on the news. When the stock market drops, that's the news. When someone says something stupid, that's the news. When something terrible happens, that's the news. But what that does, and this is really what I want to emphasize to you and make clear, what that does is make you feel like you live in public instead of in private. When your news was only in the morning and maybe in the afternoon, the rest of the day was news-free and you lived in private. And you estimated your life by your relationships, by your thoughts, by your reading, by whatever it was that you did for your job. In other words, by your own metric. When you're constantly plugged in, not only to everything, but to everyone, when your Facebook feed assaults you every minute of the day, then it's harder to live in private. It's harder to be who you are. One of the blessings of Shabbat is that Shabbat is a time when we are able to live in private, when we can actually reflect on who we are and not constantly be bombarded by the stories and pictures and tales of everyone else's life, and also by the drumbeat of negativity that goes for news. There is much to be savored and to be grateful for in this world. If you are alive and breathing and you see the sunset and you can watch the sunrise, if you have enough to eat and a roof over your head, if you have people whom you love and people who love you, then there's a lot to be grateful for. I know that it's hard. I know that there are tremendous challenges, even unprecedented challenges in the world right now. And so I'm suggesting that you create a certain cone of silence and privacy where you can just be you, where you don't always have to be subject to the opinions, the events, the tragedies of other people, people whom you don't know, people close and far away. There is a place in this world, not only for the grand public events, which are important and which we speak about all the time, but also for the private meditations of the soul. To hear your inner music, to hear your spiritual harmony, to take a breath, to have a Shabbos. I hope over the next 25 hours that you'll take a moment for you and recognize that creation is big and various and full of wonders and filled with moments where we can breathe and we can feel ourselves in stillness, in prayer, in connection, in faith. Shabbat Shalom.